Rolling?
Rolling.
We are rolling. Welcome, everybody, to another bonus episode of Savor the Burn. We are here at Mitch Plemons' house, Casa de Plemons. Thanks again for having us here. And I say...
Muchas gracias.
And I say us because I'm Jonathan, and to my left is Mr. Wayne Wilkes. He goes by W2.
How's it going?
How's it going? And in this bonus episode, we're going to try a little something called Quiet Man. It's a single malt Irish whiskey, 8-year Irish whiskey. And it is bottled in Derry, Ireland, North Ireland, oak bourbon cask natured. And we're really looking forward to trying this out. It's one of the two that we came over to his house to try a couple of different things. And he bestowed upon us a couple things to try out, and this is the second of two. And I just pulled a little sniffer on the nose here. Something smells. What was the sourdough? It's not sourdough. It's something. There's something kind of sour on the nose on this to me. I don't know if you guys are picking up on it.
Biscuity.
I'm still getting green apples.
Biscuit. Okay. Yeah. So like the old school, not buttermilk, but just plain biscuits with the round fucking grandma's old fashioned fucking biscuits. You know, you could probably find it Cracker Barrel or something. I don't know. I think we talked about that.
Definitely picking up some green apple too.
Yeah, but I'm smelling all that malt, that barley.
Maybe a little bit of honey.
Maybe just a touch of honey.
This is a single malt whiskey.
It says it's a whiskey by bartenders for bartenders. So maybe this one is best mixed in cocktails. It says here 8-year maturation. How did we decide we were going to pronounce that fucking word? I'll just say maturation. If it's wrong, feel free to send me a message, Jonathan@savortheburn.com. Just slide it in my fucking DMs.
I'm going to go with maturation.
Maturation. We'll go with Mitchell's suggestion. 8-year maturation in bourbon casks gives the malt a sweet yet spicy note while retaining the complex flavors of the pot still distillation.
Nice. Well put. Cheers.
That's straight from the label. Cheers, fellers.
Cheers.
Cheers indeed. Drinking neat. Have a little flavor.
And that's the way we want to try it. We want to try it right off the bat neat. So there's no dilution. There's no mixing of other flavors into it that could kind of compromise the complexities, if there are any. Just from the nose, like I said, it's got kind of a...
There's a lot more green apples when you taste it.
Yeah. On the mouth, it's different.
There's caramel.
A hint of caramel, yep.
There's a little bit of vanilla.
What little heat that there was, it just vanished.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super quick.
Yeah.
So what we're left with is like what
That's
you said.
a very short finish.
Yeah, what you guys just said, the apple and the caramel, it's there almost immediately afterwards.
And maybe instead of honey, maybe it's more of a toffee.
I agree with toffee.
Toffee would probably pair better with Grandma's old fashioned biscuits. Because Grandma made toffee too, didn't she? No, your mom made peanut brittle.
I'm going to be honest with you, out of all the whiskeys that we've had, Irish whiskeys today, the Redbreast is really fantastic. It's quite delightful. It's good whiskey. It's not at that rate, but it's got a good finish. It's got a good nose. It's got a good palate. It's quick to finish, but it's very palatable.
Yeah, I would agree. Very, very palatable. Very good. It doesn't need any kind of dilution from like an ice cube, like we've talked about. Melt half an ice cube in it. Throw the ice cube in the fucking trash because that's where it fucking belongs because we're men.
Right.
But really, it doesn't need that because it's not so damn hot that you can't just sit here on your couch, watch the evening news, and just enjoy a whiskey or enjoy a bourbon. This really fits in that Goldilocks zone where it's just right. And I guess that coincides with the name of it, Quiet Man. It's called The Quiet Man, but like. You drink it, you're just going to sit there and be quiet because there's really nothing to bitch about.
I like that.
Well put, sir.
Mitchell just threw horns.
Yep.
He gets it. He's
yeah.
on board.
Absolutely. Well put, sir.
And I don't always have a way with words, especially right on the fly. I usually have to think about my words quite a bit before I put them out there into the ether. But
Are you, excuse me, sir.
yeah,
Are you an ethereal soul?
probably not, because I don't know what that means. I've mentioned Raytown Renown, haven't I? Because there's a lot of
We
Sugar
just said
Creek
you
in
threw
my
it down
DNA.
in the ether. I just
Right.
assumed that you were naturally an ethereal soul.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I got a lot of Sugar Creek DNA that gets really confused when you ask me those questions.
That's wonderful. I love your honesty because I think we came from the same breeding stock. I'm just across the river. We might be cousins.
Fuck yeah, bro.
That's good shit. Good
Any,
fucking beverages.
So you think this is second only to the red breast?
No.
No?
I think it's a little lower down than that, but I
Okay.
think the Red Breast was absolutely my new standard of Irish whiskey. We've already covered this in the discussion. Mm-hmm. Whew, that is wonderful. But there are a few Irish whiskeys that I really hold kind of select, and I wish that we had a few more to try tonight. I would. This is delightful. This is a wonderful Irish whiskey. In my personal opinion, I would put it down a little lower.
Okay.
I would. There's probably 4 or 5 others I would put ahead of this.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 10 being red breast, if red breast is the best, where would you put this? The Quiet Man.
There are so many choices out there. I would probably put this at about a 7.
Okay. That's not a bad spot to be.
Not at all.
It's better than average.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
and personally, I'm lucky if I even hit average. How about you, Wayne? On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put this? Because I might put it right at 7 or 8, like Mitchell just said.
I'm going to probably be a little bit more discerning, but I'm going to probably say 6 or 7.
You're a 6.5. I already know you because you are. This man is well. He's got a very broad palate, and he's well discerned. He's tasted many of the Irish whiskeys, so I would expect 6.5 out of you.
It's good. It's tasty.
Yeah, it's good. It's not great, but it's definitely good.
Right.
To me, it's
So where
it's on
would
the
you-
top end of good.
Let's put this in perspective. Where would you put a Jameson?
That's probably my 5.
A
Right in
5.
the middle ground.
Like
Right there in the middle.
4.5.
See,
5.
I would actually throw a Jameson higher than that. Personal opinion.
Where would you put it?
I would say Jameson is honestly it's 2 different night and day flavors. Mm-hmm. I would put a Jameson much closer to this. I would put a Jameson at about a 6.5,
Okay.
just because in a totally different bodies and complexities, flavors, nothing similar at all. Even though they're Irish whiskeys, 2 completely different fucking Irish whiskeys.
No.
Right.
Palate wise, complexity wise, drinkability wise, everything else that goes with it. Yeah, I would say 6.5 on Jameson.
I think that's a good assertion. So if you're looking for a good Irish whiskey at right about the anywhere between the 6.5 to 7 out of 10 rating, I would suggest grabbing the Quiet Man. This single malt Irish whiskey. It's 8 years old. It's I think it's very tasty, and I would actually like to try this in a cocktail because I think it's got enough complexity in it that it would lend well to maybe not a full ounce of the syrup, the maple syrup or simple syrup.
Yep.
I don't know how well it would combine with lemon or even orange. Actually, I have a little bit of it here with my dehydrated orange slice. I'm letting that kind of rehydrate in the whiskey. But yeah, I would definitely try it. I would try it again. I really would. I would try this again. I'd probably try it again before I grabbed another bottle of Jameson. Like we said, Jameson is kind of like probably my my version of Jim Beam as far as Irish whiskeys go. Like, I can always trust it to be the same. It's like a Slayer album. Like, every
Right.
time Slayer released an album, you could always expect
Slayer! Sorry.
Slayer!
Gotta throw it in there.
Every time you got a Slayer album, you could expect Slayer. Like, you always knew what to expect. So when I say the Slayer principle, I would apply bourbon to be like Jim Beam. I would Irish whiskey to be like Jameson, and Scotch to, I mean, maybe it's not top shelf, but it's higher shelf. The Glenfiddich is kind of a great Scotch, and actually now I'm gonna have to revisit that because we tried that Peat Monster, and as far as Scotch goes, that was a very light tasting. It was very it wasn't super peat forward, and it was a light straw color, and it was very tasty. So maybe that's my go-to in the future as far as Scotch goes.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's another thing. So there's a first tongue, a first tasting,
Right.
and this is what I'm about to readdress here because I'm about to take my second pull here. And if you gentlemen would like a second pull, there's always
I have my second pull waiting in my orange slice here.
there's always the initial front nose and taste,
Right.
and there's an adjustment for the palate. So the reason that we drink, neat, for me personally, is sometimes it takes more than one pull. Like a shot glass or a snifter or whatever you do. It depends on the size of the pour. But there's for my palate specifically, and this is individual to people, but, acquiring a little bit of time to, just like when, to adapt to the palate. Just some good bourbons, some good whiskeys, they might be a little hot on the palate. They might have a little different flavor. And as you get into it, you start picking up different notes. And then the sweet happens later, the mellows. You start picking up more notes as you go. And maybe this is my personal palate, but I'm about to have my second pull of this whiskey just to check it out.
All right. While he's getting his second pull on the whiskey, Wayne, do you have any closing thoughts on the Quiet Man Irish whiskey? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No. It's...
I just kind of threw it out there. I was thinking about it. I'm like, he must be able to hear my thought process as I'm thinking this. I must be speaking this out.
I think I agree with you. I think it would be. I'd be really interested to try that in a cocktail, and even if it's just a simple old fashioned.
Right. This might make a great old fashioned. I think neat. It's a great upper middle range whiskey. You put it like right at slightly above mid range.
Yeah.
And now that you've had your second pull,
It gets a little sweeter.
Mr. Plemons, what you think it got sweeter?
It got a little sweeter. It's a little easier to drink. It's still got those little bit. I mean, it's still a little bit hot on it. But
For you, was it only hot like at the very front end?
tasting again, it's not real hot. I mean, it's just it's one of those things that it is not honestly that. I keep going back to the Red Breast,
Right.
and that was a 12-year, right? And that was so magnificent. I mean, that is the new standard for me personally for Irish whiskey. So in comparison to that, like it's going to be hard to compete with any of your whiskey, but it's delightful. It's got a lot of good notes on it. It just it's not hot like the
Limavady.
there you go. That had a lot of heat to it. I'm gonna go back and readdress that again and give it a minute to do its cooling and sit out and taste it.
In Limavady's defense, it was a single barrel Irish whiskey, and this is a single malt. But we've already discussed single malt in previous episodes. We've already discussed that single malt really just refers to all the process that was done to the whiskey was done in-house in the same house.
Right.
So that was very interesting to learn.
It's blended, but it's just blended within, like
It's all within under the same
house.
roof. So that's definitely neat.
So
neat to learn.
again, gentlemen, we need to, or you need to come back to bonded whiskeys. Just a whole other thing for
Bonded
bourbons.
whiskeys,
Just
Bonded
saying.
whiskeys, yeah, that sounds like a great future episode.
Absolutely. Cheers, brothers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Irish whiskeys, indeed. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Right around
whether,
the corner.
Whether this is before or after St. Patty's Day. For the Irish, or those with Irish livers, like our friend
I got an
Mitchell
Irish
here.
liver.
It's every day's Irish Day.
Damn right.
So, thank you guys for listening in to this episode of Savor the Burn. You can find us on all social media platforms. You can find us all streaming platforms. SavorTheBurn.com. You can go on the website that's ever evolving, always changing, always being updated with new things. You can email us at info@SavorTheBurn.com. You can email me, Jonathan, personally at Jonathan@SavorTheBurn.com, or this lovely voice over here hidden behind the fantastic beard of Mr. Wayne Wilkes. You can reach him at W2@SavorTheBurn.com. Mitchell, Clemens, thank you so much for letting us into your house and letting us try your whiskeys. This Quiet Man, I think was it's still a solid
choice.
I think it's a solid 7 for me. So definitely thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm likely not to forget it.
Nice. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me as a guest on today's episode.
And until next time, keep on burning.
Keep on burning.
Keep on burning. Whoop, whoop.